Let's talk about the real cost of that brand new car in the driveway. And I'm not talking about the sticker price. No, I'm talking about a financial trap, one that's disguised as a totally normal, everyday decision that can literally cost you over $1 million in the long run. And we're going to break down exactly how it works right now.
This quote right here, it absolutely nails the core of the problem. You know that feeling when the finance manager slides the papers over and says, "You're approved"? It feels fantastic, right? But what you have to understand is that approval has almost nothing to do with your actual financial health. The bank's job is simple. Figure out the absolute maximum dollar amount you can possibly pay them each month without immediately defaulting. That's it.
So that's the big question, isn't it? What exactly is this $772 trap? Well, that number, it represents a very carefully engineered financial illusion. And we are about to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how it works.
All right, so let's get right into it and deconstruct this thing. The entire trap is built on a really powerful but actually very simple illusion, taking a massive, life-altering expense and making it feel like a small, totally manageable monthly payment. And here it is, $772. As of right now, that's the record-high average monthly payment for a new car. And if you hear that number and your first thought is, I could probably swing that, well, that's not an accident. The auto and finance industries have spent billions and billions of dollars to make you feel that way, to normalize that number.
So how do they do it? How do they make a number that high seem affordable? It's actually pretty simple. First, they stretch the loans out for years and years. We're talking 84 months, even 120 months. They lock you into this long-term contract for an asset that is losing value every single day. And they get you to focus, laser focus, on that monthly payment. So you stop thinking about the total cost. And they definitely don't bring up all the other mandatory costs, like insurance, maintenance, and gas.
Okay, to really see how this works, let's make it real. Let's talk about Derek. He earns a solid income, $68,000 a year. He just walked out of the dealership feeling great because he was told his new car fits his budget. He signed the papers for a $780 monthly payment.
But here's the cruel math the dealership conveniently left out. You see, that $780 payment, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You have to add in insurance, which, by the way, is mandatory on a finance car. Then you got gas, then a pretty conservative budget for maintenance, and all of a sudden, Derek's real monthly cost for this car is over $1,200. Now look at what this actually does to his life. When you do the math, Derek is spending nearly 40%, 40, of his entire take-home pay just to own this car. That leaves almost nothing left over for savings, for emergencies, for travel, for building any kind of wealth for his future. And this quote just describes it perfectly. That new car smell, that's gone in a few weeks. But the financial burden, that sticks around for years. The car ends up owning him, not the other way around.
But here's the craziest part. Believe it or not, that $1,200 a month cost, that isn't even the real sticker price. Not even close. The biggest cost of this car is totally invisible. It's all the wealth you never get to build because you're chained to that payment.
Let's just run a little thought experiment. What if, instead of sending that $772 to the bank every single month, you invested it, let's say in a simple S&P 500 index fund, earning the historical average return of about 10% for 30 years? What do you think that would turn into?
$1.69 million. Just let that sink in for a second. The real price of that new car isn't $50,000. It's the nearly $2 million future you just traded for a backup camera and some heated seats.
So why do we all fall for this? Why is it so hard to see? Well, it's a known mental blind spot. It's called exponential growth bias. And what it means is that our brains are just terrible at intuitively understanding how small, consistent actions, like investing a little bit every month, can explode into massive results over time. It's like seeing a tiny snowball at the top of a huge mountain and just being physically unable to imagine it becoming an avalanche at the bottom. The car industry knows this about you, and they build their entire business model around it.
And you have to understand, this system isn't broken. Oh no, it's working exactly as it was designed. Banks make more profit from longer loans. The dealerships themselves often make more money on the financing deal than they do on the actual car. Your financial stress, your financial precariousness, that is their revenue model. So, what's the alternative? What's the other path? Well, it's not nearly as glamorous, but it is the actual path to financial freedom. And to see it, let's meet Marcus. Marcus makes the exact same income as Derek, but he made a very different choice. He drives a reliable, totally paid-off car. It's maybe a little boring, sure, but his car payment every month is zero. A big fat zero.
So let's compare their lives. Derek is basically a financial hostage. He's busy performing success for everyone else to see. But Marcus has something much, much more valuable. He has margin, financial margin. So if his water heater breaks, he just fixes it. No big deal. If a great career opportunity comes along that pays a little less at first, he can take it. If he hates his job, he has the freedom to leave. Derek is just stuck, hoping his next paycheck clears on time. That is not freedom.
And this really gets to a fundamental truth about money. Real wealth is invisible. It's not the fancy car on the driveway. It's the assets that are quietly growing in the background, the brokerage account that nobody ever sees or takes a picture of for Instagram. It's about having the freedom to make choices, not the obligation to make payments.
Because ultimately, that's what this all boils down to. It's a choice between looking wealthy and actually being wealthy.
And hey, if you think driving an expensive car makes you look rich, you might want to think again. The data on this is crystal clear. 86% of people you see driving luxury cars are not millionaires. They are just people trading their future security for a little bit of status today.
So the next time you're in a dealership and you hear that word manageable, you need to recognize it for what it is. It's a distraction. Ignore the monthly payment. If you want a smart rule of thumb, use the 20-4-10 rule. That's a 20% down payment, a loan term of no more than 4 years, and making sure your total transportation costs are under 10% of your gross income. That's the math that actually matters. This really is the choice, plain and simple. You have to decide. Do you want to look rich, driving a car that the bank actually owns, or do you want to be wealthy, driving a car you own, one that you're not afraid to get a door ding in, one that serves you instead of enslaving you?
So I'll just leave you with this question. This choice, it isn't really about metal and rubber and leather seats. It's about your freedom. It's about your life. So, which do you choose? The prison cell with heated seats or the car that sets you free?